Quiero saludar y dar la bienvenida ya a los estudios. Está aquí la señora Angela Townsend. Ella es actualmente concejal de la ciudad de Georgetown, Delaware. Y el día de hoy y mañana vamos a entrevistar a los candidatos. Hoy es la candidata a la alcaldía. Angela Townsend is the person who has wanted to go against the actual mayor in the city of Georgetown. You've been a council. How many years you've been in council? Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us today,
Thank
Angela.
you. I'm glad to be here. Back in 2002, I was on council for 3 years, and I gave that up to become town clerk, and now I'm on my 4th year on council. Yes.
But you used to work in the city for how long?
Close to 11 years, I worked as town clerk.
Town clerk, yeah.
Yes.
Estoy con la señora Angela Townsend. Ella trabajó 11 años como la persona, la clériga de la ciudad de Georgetown, y está 4 años como concejal. Which ward you represent? Ward 4?
Ward 3.
Ward 3, okay.
Ward 3.
So we're going to establish this. We're going to try to do a bilingual conversation, you know.
Yes,
But
yes.
The reason that I invite you guys, and I do every other year, the candidates for mayor in the city is, first of all, because it's the hometown for our stations, the headquarters. And second of all, is because the city of Georgetown is 60+% Latino community. And
Yes.
then, you know, it's very important for us to have this conversation with you.
Correct.
So let me learn a little bit about you. First of all, why you get involved in politics after your successful career in the day-by-day living?
Well, back in 2002 to 2005, I totally enjoyed serving on council. I have told numerous people I am not a politician, I'm a public servant. I love helping people. I have volunteered for numerous organizations in town, and I just enjoy helping individuals. And I want to expand on that. Georgetown is a very diverse community, and we're not connected as a community. We are I think we're all separated. I have come to appreciate the Hispanic culture through food. My husband and I ate our way through North Ray Street one day. But I enjoyed going into all the businesses downtown, especially on Ray Street, North Race, and talking with the people the best I could. But I have a new appreciation for the Hispanic people. They're hardworking. They are very religious, family-oriented. And in a lot of places that you go into, they're always smiling, very welcoming, and they wanted to give us something. Here, take a drink, take a pastry.
Let me translate. Let's do some more phrases so I will be able to translate what you exactly said. Le pregunté a la señora candidata a la alcaldía de Georgetown, la señora Angela Townsend, y si es que ella, ¿qué le motivó a estar en política después de haber tenido una carrera bien en su vida regular? Y dice que cuando en el 2005, cuando ella era concejal, que ella miró la oportunidad. Ella dijo que no era una político, pero dice que en su campaña ahora ha estado visitando varios negocios, ha estado comiendo comida latina y ha estado haciendo cosas en la comunidad latina, porque dice, yo le decía que la razón por la que nosotros estamos haciendo esta entrevista es precisamente porque el 60% más, o 60, 61, 62 de la población de la ciudad de Georgetown en Delaware es latina, y por eso es importante tener cada 2 años esta entrevista con los candidatos a la alcaldía. So, Angela, in the you back in the seat, you've been in 4 years, and the last 4 years since I know you and I, we know each other for like 18, 20 years probably, since I came here.
Right.
But the bottom line is the last 4 years is a little bit complicated, especially the last 2 years. In Georgetown, Delaware, it was a little complicated, the relationship between the council, some members of the council, and the Hispanic community and African American community, especially. Since you mentioned that is a division in the community, why you think is the division in the community?
From my discussions with the Black community, there's a disconnect. I believe, this is my opinion, some of the Blacks kind of resent the Hispanics. It's like the town is now centered around welcoming all the Hispanics to town. One point in time, years and years ago, we with the whites and the Blacks, and then little by little, Hispanics started coming in. because of the poultry plant. But they are in our town, and they're town people, but we still, we need to get connected again. We need to get connected again as a town, but I think there's a lot of resentment.
Why is there resentment? So why do you think? Because
it seems like there's a lot of handouts that go to the Hispanic community versus the black community.
Okay, let me translate what you just said. La señora Angela Townsend acaba de decir que hay un resentimiento y hay un distanciamiento entre las comunidades, especialmente entre la comunidad afroamericana y la comunidad latina. Dice porque antes eran solamente blancos y afrodescendientes en la ciudad y que ahora llegaron los latinos porque las plantas de pollo. Y entonces hay un resentimiento por la llegada de los latinos. Which I believe, and I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to make this interview as easy as I can for you and for the audience. Okay. All right? I don't want to argue with you, but I'm a Latino. I'm working 20 years in Georgetown. I used to live for almost a year in Georgetown, and then I moved to Lewis, Delaware. But the point you just made, do you think is you are creating with your words a division which doesn't exist? We have a great relationship with the African American community. In fact, but a year ago, when you and a council, another members of council approved money to give it to the museum in Georgetown, right? African Americans and Latinos were united against your decision of putting the flag there. A flag that is controversial and is very racist. What do you think about that?
When I gave the money to the Marble Museum, I gave the money to the Marble Museum. I supported the museum. I did not support the flag. The flag has been there for over 18 years now. It was never an issue then. And even, say, up to 5-6 years ago, it was never an issue, is when the money was approved to give to the Marble Museum for improvements for the museum, not the flag, not the monument, the museum. Then the controversy arose. But the previous it's history to me. It's history.
All right, but previous conversations and meetings in the council, right, in the city, in the town hall, it was members of the Latino community and the African American community, telling you and everybody else there in the room that is not cool, it's not right, and the community don't want to be the flag there. And you guys can make the decision, say, okay, I'll give you the money, but you need to put the flag down. If it's a history, it can be inside of the building, not flagging on the air. So what do you think about that?
A lot of people did tell me that. But I have gotten a lot of support since the vote on the flag for standing up for history. Whether you agree with the flag or not, the flag is a battle flag of the Confederacy. A lot of hate groups have used the flag for their mission, like the KKK. They use the Confederate flag. Why? I don't know. But the flag that flies out there
But you don't think it's offensive? You don't think it's offensive for the people that lives in Georgetown, majority blacks and Latinos?
There's a lot of things that offend me, and I avoid them.
All right, let me translate this part.
If it offends you, like I've said before, you don't participate, you don't go out there and visit, drive by, don't look at it.
All right, let me translate this part. We're going to go easy this. So la señora Angela Townsend dice que la división que ella mencionaba, y le decía yo que estos 2 años que yo he estado yendo a las reuniones de consejo en la ciudad, el año pasado particularmente fue muy complicado porque tanto los latinos como los afrodescendientes estuvimos muy unidos, no separados como dice la señora Angela Townsend, estuvimos muy unidos en contra de que se entregue un dinero al Marble Museum, al museo de la ciudad, donde tienen una bandera confederada flameando en los altos, y es una bandera que representa, como ella dice que representa la historia y que nadie le debería molestar. Por 18 años la bandera ha estado ahí, a nadie le ha molestado, y dice que no le debería molestar a nadie. Y le digo que dentro de esas conversaciones, la comunidad afrodescendiente, organizaciones, líderes, también latinos, protestamos en contra de esa bandera, porque representa el racismo y el esclavismo al que fueron sometidos nuestros antepasados. Y ella dice que solo representa la historia y que también, así como tuvo personas que protestamos en contra de eso, ella dice que también tuvo personas a favor de que la bandera esté ahí. So, Angela, now let's talk about I think we have a phone call. Let's see.
Oh.
Good morning. Please tell me your name o dígame su nombre y adelante con su pregunta. Please go ahead. Your name, answer, and your question.
Gracias. Good morning. My name is Mary. My question is for Ms. Townsend. First of all, the flag is a disgrace. With regard to the homeless and the drug addiction problem in Georgetown, since you are a member of the Historical Society, what plans do you have for the historical building known as the Joseph Adams Building on East Pine Street, known as the Higher Ground organization that is operated and run by a sex offender registered in the Delaware and his girlfriend that has become nothing more than a homeless hangout with overdoses inside of the building and sex offenders going in and out of the building and children in the Latino community and in the entire community of Georgetown going in front of the building to and from school? Will you hold Higher Ground organization accountable for enabling the drug addicted and the homeless population, and they intentionally and willfully profit off of the homeless through the guise of helping the homeless through financial donations from the public? Will you take their business licenses away? What would you do about this situation?
Thank you so much for your question. Gracias por la llamada. Go ahead, Mr. Townsend.
Thank you for your question. I have heard rumors or statements like you just made about Higher Ground. I have not been affiliated with them. When I do become mayor, I will definitely investigate and see what is behind it. I think at one point in time, a letter was written to the town, which was not shared with council, as to this problem. I did get a phone call the other day from Luis Hernandez. He wanted to speak with me, and I have not called him back as of yet. I did hear that they had individuals there that were sex offenders. I have not investigated that yet. But I take something like that very seriously, and I will look into it.
When,
and
Angela,
if action has to be taken, then we'll take action with it.
Let me translate this. La persona que llamó está diciendo que hay un centro donde ayudan. What is the name of the center that we're referring to? The name of the house?
Was it?
The name of the house.
What's the name of the house?
No, she's already gone.
Oh.
But anyway, it's the house that they
it has Hope, I think, on the front door.
Hay un centro donde el dueño de la casa y el que corre ese lugar
right on Pine Street.
Está ahí y dicen que están denunciando que hay este lugar hay sex offenders y toda la situación. La señora Townsend dice que si ella ya se hace alcalde, que ella va a investigar y va a buscar la manera de ayudar a este lugar. Pero Angela, before we take the next phone call, let me ask you this. When you say a division in the community, I know the community, this community in Georgetown, I know for so long. That day by day I live here, I eat here. I don't live physically. I don't sleep in Georgetown, but I spend a lot of hours in Georgetown, and I do a lot of business here. And I know the community. What needs to be changed in the city of Georgetown to benefit no people by color, everybody?
What I'd like to do is make up some committees of the Black community, the Hispanic community, sit down and ask, what can the town do for you that we're not doing for you now?
Take that flag down. Do you think the people, you will be able, if you become a mayor, would ask the museum to take the flag down?
I can't take the flag down.
Why?
There's an agreement, a 99-year, it's my understanding, lease between the Marble Museum and the Delaware Grays. Mm-hmm. You'd have to contact the Delaware Grays and ask them about their agreement.
I see. Dice que yo le decía qué es lo que ella quiere hacer si ella se convierte en alcalde para resolver el problema de la gente en la ciudad, no por colores. Y me vuelve a insistir y dice que ella quiere reunirse con un grupo de latinos y otro grupo de afrodescendientes para saber qué es lo que necesitan. Y yo le digo, pues bueno, la primera cosa que creo que necesitan es que baje la bandera racista que existe en el museo Y dice que no se puede porque hay un contrato de 99 años que la bandera tiene que estar ahí y que tienen que hablar con un grupo llamado Grace. Esa es la respuesta. Vamos, we have another phone call, if you allow me to.
Okay.
Buenos días en la línea. Por favor, identifíquese y con su pregunta adelante. Please, your name and go ahead with the question, please.
Hello, my name is Luke. And first of all, the name of I'm a community activist here in Georgetown.
Okay.
The house that you were referring to is called the Higher Ground, and it is run by a registered sex offender.
Okay.
But beyond that, the question I was going to ask was about the flag, but since you guys, I think, covered that, I want to ask you about housing opportunities for the Latino community. There's a lot of draw here between the jobs at Purdue and various other businesses, but it seems like there's a housing problem within the affordable housing problem within the Latino community. What would you do to fix that problem?
Thanks so much for your question, Luke.
One thing I would like to address, I talked to a gentleman the other day, which has the same concerns. A lot of people have commented on affordable housing. I'm in full favor of the ice plant renovation for apartments and then commercial down below on Depot Street. The problem I have with that is they're calling that affordable housing. But for a one-bedroom apartment, $1,400 a month is not affordable. Mm-hmm. I would like to see, I've heard rumors about tiny houses. I'm not really in favor of a community of tiny houses for affordable housing. I would rather see an apartment complex. Mm-hmm. To me, it's cheaper to build, easier to maintain as far as the grounds go. And the rent would range from $700 a month to $800 a month. And make that affordable housing. But in order to
have you ever had any conversation with a builder company or anybody in relation to that?
Yeah, just this week.
Who you talk to?
I talked to Sonny Gayani.
Okay.
He's in favor of affordable housing.
Sonny Gayani is not a construction guy. He has a couple houses here and there, right. But he's not a builder.
But he's familiar with it.
I understand that, and I have high respect for for the people who's having properties and has a projects.
Right.
But Sonny Gayani is also involved with the project you're against. That is a nice
I'm not
dash
against
house.
that.
You're not against,
no.
Okay?
No, years and years ago.
But you say that is not affordable.
Years ago, I was all for it. I said I wanted to make it like commercial apartments like they have in New York with the exposed piping. I said it would be wonderful to make apartments have commercial downstairs. People didn't want to do it because where it was located. But I think it's a wonderful idea, and I stated that during the council meeting.
Right. So you support
I'm not in favor of the price. For a one-bedroom, $1,400. That's not affordable.
All right. Vamos a traducir esta parte. Let me translate this part. Y la pregunta de Luke, que nos llamó hace un instante, le voy a tratar de resumir. Él dice que él sabe que la casa que estábamos refiriéndonos anteriormente sí es registrado a nombre de un sex offender. Pero aparte de eso, él decía que hay mucha necesidad de casas a un precio razonable en la ciudad, que sí iba a hacer algo. ¿Cuál es el plan que ella tiene para arreglar ese problema? Un problema delicado de casas en la ciudad. Y lo que ella dice, que ella está a favor de aprobar proyectos que traigan affordable housing a la ciudad, que se puedan pagar. Pero ella dice que hay un proyecto que es revitalizar un antiguo edificio donde una fábrica de hielo, donde antiguamente funcionaba esto y ahora le quieren revitalizar. Y hay un grupo de inversionistas que quieren hacer departamentos ahí, pero ella dice que no está de acuerdo con el precio, que el precio de un cuarto es de $1,400 y eso no es affordable, ya eso no es una forma de ayudar a la situación de casas, de necesidad de casas en la ciudad. Le preguntaba si ha hablado con constructores. Ella me dice que ha hablado con Sonny Gayani. Y Sonny Gayani es un inversionista local que tiene proyectos y tiene algunas casas. Sin embargo, le decía que él no es un constructor como tal. Y ella me dice que bueno, pero que él está involucrado y estamos de acuerdo con eso. Now, moving forward. It bothers you that there's a lot of new people coming to town because of the chicken plants and all these projects and the construction and everything. You bothered by the homeless.
I'm bothered by the homeless.
So what's the solution for that?
Well, from what I've learned this week, from the mayor, people have brought individuals to town to drop them off because we have all the places to give out free stuff. Mm-hmm. They enable the homeless. Believe it or not, some people do not want to work. They don't want responsibility. They want to live in a tent in the woods. Mm-hmm. But it bothers me with the homeless walking the streets. I want to work with Shepherd's Place instead of giving a handout to give a hand up. When somebody shows up, we have a lot that leave the jail, walk into town, and they give them a tent, clothing, food. I've even heard they give them cell phones. They enable people to be homeless. Mm-hmm. Right now we have some guy, a panhandler, out at the intersection. I've seen him down near Rite Aid and by Walmart.
Are you planning to establish a new law to go against these situations?
To me, it's illegal. It's already on the books to live in a tent on town property. I want that enforced. I want people that are living in the woods on someone else's property. They're trespassing. To me, they should be cited for trespassing.
Have you discussed with the council and the mayor before in order to address this? Why has nothing happened then?
Good question. I think the pallet is I've been told if you build it, they will come. And it seems like the pallet is a magnet. I've been told, oh, no, it's not a magnet. But for some reason, people are being shipped in here from other towns. To me, it's not our responsibility to house someone from Baltimore, Pennsylvania, New York, wherever they're coming from. It's our responsibility to take care of these people. Other towns put them on a bus and ship them back where they came from. But I have to say one thing.
Please.
The Hispanic, I don't think I've ever seen a homeless Hispanic person because they take care of their own. They're very family-oriented. And I have never, in my ride around town, seen a Hispanic individual.
Okay, let me translate this part. Decía que en la ciudad, si es que ella le molesta, porque ella mencionó antes de que las plantas de pollos y eso, y le decía si ella le molesta ¿qué le molesta? Ella dice que los que no tienen vivienda, los homeless. Y ella dice que desde la casa que les ofrece celulares, comida, les ofrecen una carpa, ropa. Hay una casa ahí en la ciudad, en la calle, en Bedford Street, North Bedford Street. Y esta casa dice que lo que se ha convertido es un lugar donde que le reciben a todos. Y es más, ella dice que hay gente llegando a dejar homeless aquí para que reciban esos beneficios. Y el otro problema que ella dice que ve que es los pallets. Es un lugar que construyeron unas casas miniatura para ayudar a los homeless a que tengan un lugar donde dormir. Dice que eso no ha resuelto, que eso lo que se convirtió en es un magneto, un imán para que más homeless vengan a la ciudad. Le pregunté también que si ellos habían hablado con el consejo, con el alcalde para resolver este problema y dice que no me ha respondido esa parte. So we have another question. Somebody is on the phone. Buenos días, adelante con su pregunta. Identifíquese por favor y adelante. Good morning, with your name and your question, please. No, there's nobody there. Let's go to the next line. Good morning, your name and your question, su nombre y su pregunta, por favor.
Mi nombre es Cristina Díaz Malone. Estoy llamando yo no tengo nada para preguntarle a la concejal. Yo quiero darle las gracias a ella por haber tenido la reunión que yo insistí que tuvieran cuando el tema de la bandera salió debidamente por uno de las personas blancas aquí en Georgetown. No fue ninguna persona latina ni fue ninguna persona de color que puso el tema sobre la mesa. Eso lo quiero corregir. Ella subsecuentemente puso un grupo de sus amistades de ellas y de los Greys y invitó a la comunidad afroamericana. De esa reunión resultó nada. Nada. No creo que ella sola pueda, en el tiempo que las dos tenemos en esta tierra, de corregir el problema. Segundo, que también quiero corregir la respuesta con respecto al contrato que tienen los Greys con el museo. Ya eso se documentó que legalmente no se puede tener un contrato sin fin por 99 años de esa manera. Lo hizo el Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice, que un abogado indagó totalmente.
Right.
Sí,
Cristina,
yo creo...
y por respeto a la invitada y a la audiencia que está escuchándonos en inglés también, ¿podríamos decir esto mismo en inglés, por favor?
Okay. I am Councilwoman Townsend, colleague on council. My name is Cristina Diaz Malone, and I wanted to thank her for her trying to bring the people together, the gray, the African-American community. There were no Latinos present, and me being on council was not invited, but that's okay. It needed to start somewhere, and she did start it, but nothing came out of that. Sadly, she and I may be too old to see it come through, so we should probably leave that theme aside for others who can come up with a better solution. So I give her kudos for trying. Secondly, I do want to correct the issue because there was great with regard to the contract. There was a lot of work done by the Southern Delaware Alliance for Racial Justice, and they proved that you cannot have an infinite lease on a property. We are in America. Nothing is impossible for us Americans if you have the will to do it. Secondly, I didn't say this in Spanish, or thirdly, you are in favor of apartments. That was tried a long time ago. They're called zoos for people, where you put people of the same economic means that go nowhere, and they were called projects. We should not want any project or any putting of people together in any place like the black folks are near the railroad tracks where they were subjugated to live. That's history. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry that Mrs. Neither one of the folks, Pastor Neal, nor the other candidate, the other person, Hovington, are on the line. Yo quería decir que también el problema es que ella quiere poner apartamentos, pues los apartamentos ya eso se trató, se llaman proyectos, y se llaman zoológicos para humanos, donde todos los que están ahí son gente pobre, son gente sin ningún plan de avanzar. Nosotros no queremos proyectos en el pueblo. So I have differences of opinion. She claims that she doesn't know what I've done in town. Since 2016, I have been working practically full-time for this town. Okay. I have volunteered my time. I volunteer with many organizations and that I'm actively involved.
Gracias,
I
Cristina.
have been on the board of La Plaza.
Gracias, Cristina. Gracias por tu participación. Cristina Díaz Malón, también concejal de la ciudad. Well, go ahead, Angela. You have probably...
Where do I start? As far as the apartments, yeah, I don't want them to look like the project. But I'm trying to give people a chance to make a start. Suppose they live there for a year. They save their money. Maybe they advance in a job. Who knows? They might move out of the area. But at least it's a chance to say they have a roof over their head. They're making advances at their work. They're saving their money. And perhaps they can move to another section of town if they decide to. You know, I'm trying to give people a hand up, a starting point.
You're talking about projects anyway, right?
Well, she brought up the word project, yeah.
But I mean, that's called projects. That's called projects. When you put together a project that it holds people in a cheaper rent and that is maintained by government, that is a project.
It's not going to be maintained by government. It'll be privately owned. You go in and you rent an apartment. It'll probably be like county seat apartments, but it's for a lower tax bracket, a lower rent.
I understand. Let me translate this part. La señora Angela Townsend dice que ella dice que no quiere llamarle proyectos, pero que sí, que son lugares que ella quiere crear para poder tener la gente que viva por lo menos un año y después puedan cambiarse a otro lugar, que sean casas baratas, que quieran como le quieran llamar. Dice, ella quiere darle la oportunidad a la gente que vive en una casa barata al principio. The reason why I ask you if you talk to builders is because it's unrealistic. And this is why. In today's world, any building is going to cost more than they used to cost in 2016 or 2015, right? Any house, the house prices are to the roof.
Yeah.
So in today's day, nobody is right now in town. You cannot find an apartment for less than $1,600.
Right.
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 You cannot find a house for less than $2,800.
Right.
So that's the reality, and I doubt, unless there's some big grant is coming and dump in the city to build apartments and financed by the government, again, a project that can potentially, yes, you can make an affordable housing. But again, I think it's not supposed to be the people treated like that. And some people get offended, some people don't. But I don't think it's realistic to have houses at that price when everything is very expensive. At least that's my opinion. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Right?
Right. Hey, it's your opinion.
Yo lo que le decía es que en el mercado actual los precios de las casas, es imposible rentar una casa por menos de $1,600, un departamento, una casa por menos de $2,800 en el pueblo. Ahora las casas están carísimas y es complicado. Ciertamente el tema de las casas es un tema complicado. What else you want to do if you become a mayor? What is in your agenda? You have plans. Do you have a plan?
I have a plan. I want to get more involvement. Like I said earlier, I want to get more involvement from the people that live here. Mm-hmm. Right now, to me, they're not having a say.
Mm-hmm. But how many years you live in Georgetown?
I'll be 72 in October.
Wow. Congratulations. But this is what happens. I saw you last week.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 days ago, I saw you there in Georgetown, visiting businesses and all that. You were campaigning, doing a campaign.
Right.
But I don't see in action normally from your part. You never been in the Hispanic Festival, have you?
Yes.
You been?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about
I didn't go last year.
Okay. What do you think about the Hispanic Festival and the Hispanic activities that happened in town?
To me, it just blew me away. For the number of people. My husband needed a hat. We bought a hat from one of the vendors. Yeah. I was blown away with the amount of participants and the amount of people that support it.
Mm-hmm. So do you think we should keep it doing activities like that?
Yes. But I do. I do. I would love to see more activities in town. We used to have a lot more activities. Mm-hmm. But for some reason right now all we have is Hispanic festivities and our concerts. I would like to see more activities going on. I'd love to see like a town-wide yard sale. Mm-hmm. We used to have them on the circle. We'd close the circle down. You could buy a table, sell where. I want to get people more involved in town. Mm-hmm. It's their town.
Yo le preguntaba que actividades como el Festival Hispano, por ejemplo, que se organiza, que sí está de acuerdo. Le digo que yo no lo he visto, pero me dice que sí ha ido, que una vez compró una gorra a su esposo y todo. Le digo que hace 10 días yo le vi haciendo campaña en la ciudad, visitando los negocios y hablando con la gente. Pero yo quisiera saber si ella está de acuerdo con estas actividades. Dice que sí, que ella quiere que haya más actividades. Now, do you think is the community, what you will do exactly in order to bring all the community together? Because one of the things that bothers me, honestly, is when we are talking about Black community, Latino community, white community, and it looks like we are completely different baskets. And we should not be like that.
Right.
We should be a community, period.
Correct.
Right or wrong?
So, yes.
So what you will do, what is in your hands and your powers if you become a mayor, what you will do in order to unite all the community?
I want to get everyone together. I want to form a group. I want to form a committee. I want to start with the Black community, the Hispanic community, the white community. I want to sit down with them and ask them exactly, what are we not doing? Mm-hmm. We should be doing something to join everybody. And in my philosophy, we are all one under God's eyes, but we're not acting like a community. We are very, very divided right now. I want to form groups and then have a coalition of business owners, private people, regular citizens, teenagers, whatever, different age groups. But have everybody sit down at a table and say, okay, how can we come together? Okay. We're all in this town as one. I want to bring it back as a community where you knew your neighbor, you helped your neighbor. We didn't care if you were black, Hispanic, or white. We all worked together. And we're not doing that anymore. We're not a community.
La señora Angela Towns está diciendo que la comunidad está dividida, pero yo también le digo qué va a hacer si ella se hace alcalde, qué va a hacer para unirnos. Dice que va a unir grupos de todas las comunidades para hablar y para formar una coalición. Dice que antes éramos más unidos que ahora y ahora no hay esa unidad, especialmente quiere unirse con la comunidad afrodescendiente, la comunidad latina, etcétera, etcétera. So let's change the subject a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about security, safety.
Safety.
The city of Georgetown, the police department is there. Do you think they need a new building? They need more support, more funds? What's the status on that?
Well, their building basically right now is falling apart. I know they have problems with when it rains with moisture. We have a wonderful police force. The officers, to me, you can't get any better. They're always willing to serve, to do anything. But, you know, with a new building, it takes money.
Okay.
It has to be paid for somehow.
So do you have a plan?
Well, the only plan we really have is to go to referendum. Have the property owners, they vote in a referendum to see if we want to raise taxes. Pay for it.
But
everything takes money. Everything takes money.
Is any grants, any other federal funds, anything that you guys statewide they can get funds to build a new building?
I don't know if we could use any ARPA funds or what other kind of financing is out there. I would work with our legislators to see if we can get any kind of grants.
So at this point, as a candidate, you don't have any plan to build a new facility for the police department?
Not as of yet, no.
No, okay. So, let me translate this part. Le preguntaba a la señora Townsend si ella tiene un plan para construir un nuevo edificio para la policía. El tema de la seguridad es importante. Ella dice que tenemos una policía fabulosa, que tenemos problemas con el edificio, que cuando llueve se entra la humedad, está horrible. Pero la única solución sería subirle los impuestos a la gente que tiene casas en Georgetown para que ellos paguen por el construir el nuevo edificio de la policía. Le pregunto que si ella sabe de fondos federales o estatales que a lo mejor pueden ayudar a construir un nuevo edificio, y dice que ella no sabe y que tampoco tiene un plan ahora mismo como candidata para poder resolver ese problema. Now, and I believe, you know, if you become a mayor, you will pretty much become the boss of the police department, right? And somehow, in that way, it's been robberies and been a lot of problems in the community. What will be the solution for those problems if we don't have funds?
We have the problems. We have a lot of car break-ins. We're telling everyone in town to please lock their doors. Our car has been broken into. I can't really say broken into because we were negligent and we left our car doors open. They stole money. They went through my glove box, the whole 9 yards. It's happened to me twice. I locked my doors now. But yeah, we've been having a rash of burglaries. So we're advising everyone to lock their doors, lock their cars, and lock their doors, lock their cars, their trucks, whatever they have, their sheds outside. We've had homeless people living in a shed on people's properties. The police department, I do not want to micromanage our town departments, our employees. To me, that's why I have Gene Dvornik. He's town manager. I'm the mayor. I'm not going to micromanage every department, every employee, the police department. That's up to the department heads to do their job.
But you're going to be the head of the city. You're supposed to have a plans. You're supposed to have ideas of what we're going to do.
Years ago, when I asked about that, back in the day, back in 2002, I always go back, I was told the mayor's responsibility, and if you read it in the code, it's very simple. But I was told back in the day, the mayor shakes hands, kisses babies, and gives out proclamations.
That's what you're going to do?
No.
Okay, what are you going to do?
I want to be more involved. I want to be involved in the community. I want to meet with our medical resources we have, our educational resources here. I want to form an economic development plan. I went down to the trade show at Cape. I could not believe, and I guess it's negligent of me, I could not believe the amount of Hispanic businesses that we have here in town.
Well, let me translate this part. It's a little bit complicated for me, but I'm going to try. Le decía a la señora Angela Townsend con el tema de la seguridad, ella misma lo reconoce, ha habido muchos carros que estaban siendo robados, la gente está entrándose a los carros, robándose lo que hay adentro, y dice que ha sido negligencia suya, y porque ella le ha pasado 2 veces. Dice que la recomendación que ella da es que cierren sus carros ahora, que es lo que ella hace. Le digo, pero ¿cuál es el plan para mejorar la seguridad de la ciudad? Dice que básicamente no hay un plan, que ella ese no es el trabajo de ella, ese es el trabajo del administrador del town, el señor Jim Devonick, que él se supone que debe hacer ese trabajo, que de acuerdo al código, dice, el trabajo del alcalde no es más que saludar, dar las manos a las personas y dar besos a los niños. Y le digo que si es que ellos lo que quiere hacer, dice que no, que ella quiere estar más involucrada en la comunidad. Es la respuesta de la señora Angela Townsend en estas preguntas. And to finalize this conversation, I believe you and we have a conversation a couple of years ago, in election day.
Yes, we did.
And you probably remember our conversation.
Yes, we did.
All right. During that conversation, you said that you bother, but people is coming, bunch of illegals are coming to town. And I didn't like that expression if you said, and I explained, say, how you know there are illegals.
Right.
And I want you to clarify these in public. Why you referred at that time.
And you corrected me at that time, and you said that was a racist word.
Correct.
That you preferred the word undocumented.
But my question was, why how you know there's undocumented or illegals? How you know there's illegal people in town? ¿Cómo sabe usted que hay personas ilegales
well, I
en
have
town?
to admit, I guess I don't know if we have illegals, and I'm not quite sure how we find out about illegals unless we do a door-to-door search. Mm-hmm. We've always been called a sanctuary city, and whether we are or not, I don't think we are, but we've been called a sanctuary city. I see masses. Maybe you blame TV. I see masses of people crossing the border, not the correct way, but sneaking across, if you want to get down to it. Now, I met some individuals. I met with Sergio Morales from La Plaza. We had a 2-hour lunch. We talked a lot. We shared history, a little bit about ourselves. I bought him lunch. But we had a good discussion. And he said, you have to go out and meet the people, which I've been doing. I've been trying to do.
But you've been 73 years in town, and you just met the people in town?
72.
72, I'm sorry.
No. I, more so than I did before.
Okay. Let me translate this part. It's important to translate, and then we move forward to finalize this. So, le digo a la señora Angela Townsend que hace 2 años, exactamente un mes de mayo, en el día de las elecciones, ella y yo tuvimos una conversación, ella en el círculo, y ella me dijo que a ella no le gustaba la cantidad de ilegales que estaban llegando a la ciudad. Y yo le dije, ¿cómo sabes que son ilegales? Y ella me dijo, no supo explicarme, y le dije que era ofensivo, que era racista lo que ella había dicho, y que no estaba bien que ella se refiera a nosotros. Y tuvimos una discusión bastante fuerte, y lo cual ella recuerda, yo recuerdo, pero ella dice que sí, que ella cometió un error refiriéndose así, que ella lo que ve en la televisión es la gente que cruza la frontera y que no vienen de la manera legal como ella esperaría que vengan. Y obviamente ella dice que eso es lo que ella pasó por su cabeza, pero además dice que hace unos días se reunió con la familia Morales, con alguien de la familia Morales, y que él le dijo que tenía que reunirse con la gente latina si es que ella quería acercarse a la comunidad. Y yo le preguntaba que si ha empezado después de tantos años de vivir aquí recién a reunirse con la gente latina, y dice que no necesariamente. Pero bueno, para finalizar, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to give us the reason why you're supposed to become the new mayor in the city. Please.
Can I bring up one other thing before that?
Yes, please.
What we discussed the other day?
Please.
I've talked to quite a few Hispanics when I've been walking the streets, knocking on doors.
I'm going to translate real time, okay? Dice que ella estuvo buscando a algunas personas latinas, fue a golpear las puertas de las casas.
And I am strongly opposed to recreational marijuana. I believe it's a gateway drug.
Y ella dice que está totalmente opuesta a que se traiga la marihuana recreacional a la ciudad.
I've had some Hispanics give me a thumbs up.
Y algunas personas latinas dicen que estuvieron de acuerdo con ello.
Being mayor is a big responsibility.
Ser el alcalde es una gran responsabilidad.
That I would not take lightly.
Pero no voy a tomarlo livianamente.
You were asking me if I had a relationship, I guess, with the Hispanic community.
Usted me preguntaste si tenía relación con los hispanos.
When I went to the trade show.
Cuando me fui al show de la plaza en Cape.
I met a lot of Hispanic business people in Georgetown.
Me reuní con muchos dueños de negocios de la ciudad de Georgetown.
And as I was walking along, I see Victor.
Yo vi a Víctor.
From Jalapeno.
Por el Jalapeño, una tienda local.
He came up and gave me the biggest hug and said, "Where have you been?"
Y él le vino a dar un abrazo y le preguntó que dónde andabas.
So we went to see Victor this week. We had a delicious meal there. I talked to some people.
Ella le fue a ver a Víctor en el restaurante El Jalapeño y se reunió con algunas personas.
He treated me to lunch.
Él invitó a lunch.
I've met the gentleman in the barbershop. Very nice.
Se reunió también con una persona de una barbería.
Maudie's, I have a good relationship with the mother at Maudie's.
Tiene algunas relaciones con personas aquí.
Like I said before,
como dije antes,
we're all one under God's eyes.
Todos estamos bajo los ojos de Dios.
And I want to treat people with respect and civility.
Y quiero tratar a la gente con respeto y civilismo.
I want to bring Georgetown together.
Quiero que seamos unidos en Georgetown.
I've been to see Luis Rodriguez. I've met his kids. I've known Luis for years.
A Luis Rodríguez y a sus niños por años.
So I do have probably not as many as I should have had in the Hispanic community, but I'm learning more about the people and their customs, and I have a new appreciation.
Estoy aprendiendo acerca de la comunidad hispana y de las costumbres que tiene la comunidad. So, and I believe in, it's always good to have these conversations and confront and be honest. And I appreciate you recognize that you made mistakes and you make statements that were racist. And I appreciate that you recognize. And I appreciate that it wasn't appropriate the way that you mentioned a couple of years ago. And we addressed that. All right?
We had a come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah.
And we agreed to disagree. Yeah.
Y siempre tenemos opiniones diferentes, dice, pero vamos a seguir siempre ahí. En todo caso, I want to thank you so much, Angela, for coming today, join me for this conversation. I know a lot of people are listening all over the place. We are reaching 5 states with different frequencies. And a lot of people probably is not related with Georgetown, but a lot of locals also are listening to Station Now. And I want to make sure they know you very well. And also tomorrow we will have the current mayor.
Right.
En las elecciones van a ser este sábado. This Saturday is the elections day, right?
Saturday.
Este sábado.
8 to 6.
Desde las 8 hasta las 6 de la tarde en el Town Hall de la ciudad de Georgetown, ahí en el Círculo. Todos los ciudadanos americanos, all American citizens, you guys should go out and vote.
And I have Spanish push cards that I've left at almost all the businesses.
All right. Thanks so much, Angela. Ella dice que dejó muchísimos cartas ahí en los negocios. Angela, if you stay just for a second there, we're gonna queremos agradecer a toda la gente por haberse conectado, a la gente que compartió este video y a la gente que nos mandó sus preguntas y a la gente que también nos llamó acá. Thank you so much, everyone. Tomorrow we will have Mayor Bill West, who is the other candidate for these coming elections. This Saturday is the elections 8 to 6 p.m. Toda la gente tiene que salir a votar. La gente de la ciudad de Georgetown, escucha mañana la otra entrevista para que ustedes decidan quién es su candidato. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Las voces más importantes de tus artistas favoritos estarán en el escenario